Hey folks, when you're hunting, you never know what type of weather you're going to find yourself in. It's important to practice when it's windy, when it's rainy, even when it's cold, because when you need to make that shot of a lifetime, you need to be prepared. Stay tuned for our whitetail bow hunting episode. You're watching Fuel the Fire TV. Life offers no guarantees, but the one thing we've learned for sure is that time is indeed precious. The more time we spend with family, with friends, and with nature can make the difference between living a good life and living a great one. Join us on our quest to be participants rather than observers, to learn from our mistakes, to share our successes and our failures as we spend all of the time we have chasing our dreams, fueling our passion, and fueling our fire in the great outdoors.
Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by Closed captioning for Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by Excalibur Crossbow.
Hey folks, welcome to Fuel the Fire TV. Bow hunting for us is an addiction, and the more people that take advantage of this opportunity, the better it is for the sport.
That's right, our friend Craig Jackson this year earned his pro staff status. Bow hunting is hard enough, let alone videoing yourself. And in 2015, Craig earned his status by lugging his camera into the field and videoing his own whitetail bow hunting addiction. Let's check out this hunt.
November 3rd here on Manitoulin Island, still on archery season, another couple weeks till gun season. Rob killed a real nice 8-point out of this stand last year. Rob had said there's a nice 6 running around here, so we're going to see if we can get him.
Oh. Okay, it's a doe. She's nervous. There's another one. Oh, looks like a buck. It is a buck. Look, he's making a scream.
Okay, here it comes. Come on, one more step. One more step. Step. Oh yeah, got him! Yes! Finally!
Okay folks, my buddy Craigie there, he was out tonight and looks like he arrowed a nice 8-pointer. So we're just, we found the arrow, we're going to follow the blood trail and see what we got. There's blood right there. Over here, buddy. Around the tree. I think there he is, buddy. Let's go get him. Holy cow. That's awesome. Look at that, buddy. That's awesome. I thought it was a 6-pointer. It's actually a real nice 8. My first archery buck. Oh, you don't know what this means. This is awesome. Been hunting a long time waiting for this. Rob was nice enough to let me hunt out of his stand tonight, and I just want to thank Rob and Neil and everybody at Fuel the Fire TV, and of course Herman, his property.
Let's see what's going on. Wow, that is awesome, man. Good for you.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. I gotta get up and see that. This is the one on camera, eh, Rob?
Yeah.
On the trail cam. That's definitely 3.5, maybe even older. I can't wait to see that on video.
Looks like I hit him a little far forward, but got him in the shoulder.
Wow, those crossbows can punch right through that like nothing. I'm excited for you. That's just great.
That just pumps you up to Kansas. Eh?
Oh, does it ever pump us up for Kansas? Yeah, Rob and I are headed to Kansas this week, so man, but this would be nice to have in the pocket before you go to Kansas. He's got a big body on it too, eh? Good for you, Jackson. That is just fantastic.
Redemption right here, folks. Stick with it. You never know. Fuel your passion, fuel your fire, and get outdoors. Yeah.
This segment of Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by North Meridian Enterprises.
Welcome back to Fuel the Fire TV. Thanks for the great footage, Craigie. Awesome job.
That's right. And talk about setting us up for Kansas. Craig's deer got us pumped. We're headed down stateside and we have our sights set real high.
Okay, we're about 8 hours in on our 20-hour tour to Kansas. Drew and his dad have been farming that land for a couple different generations now. It's a real interesting piece of property, especially for us where our ground is so flat. When you're hunting that farm, you get to hunt the terrain and how the deer use the terrain to their advantage with the draws and the river beds and stuff like that. So it's going to be a real interesting hunt for us because it's something different. It's a totally self-guided hunt. Put some of the knowledge that we learned from Barry Wenzel to work on this piece of property. We're going to have to go in and find where those deer are going to and from the food source to their bedding area. So for Drew to bring us down here at this time of year, it's their harvest time, so he's really busy on the combine all hours of the day and night. I mean, he points us in the right directions and we get the stands hung and learn by our mistakes. Hey buddy, how's it going?
Rob, how you doing? You guys made it, huh?
20 hours later, we're here.
That's a long drive.
Yeah. So, stands are hung, ready to go?
Ready to go. The deer's starting to move.
All right, perfect.
So, ought to be running.
Good.
I hope.
Well, I know you got a lot of work to do, so we'll go get hung in a stand and we'll catch up tonight then after
Sounds
you're
great.
done work.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Catch you later,
definitely.
man.
Good luck.
All right.
Hope you kill a big one.
See you later.
I'm sitting in a little river bottom right below a bean field. It's an uncut bean field. There's a good trail coming into this field from my left to right. I'm gonna sit tight here. We're super excited about Kansas. How can you not be? It's Kansas. It's the rut. That would have been my best buck with a bow by far. 10 yards. And I didn't take him. It's day one. I hope I don't live to regret that. That was awesome. Well, that's the second morning in Kansas. There's one buck that was all busted up on this morning. I've had to on, and a small 8-point come in about 20 minutes after they come through.
Okay, we've seen some deer, some real nice deer. You've seen a nice 2.5 to 3.5 year old buck and decided not to take it. So we figured it was time to start moving stands.
That's right. So we decided to set up on that creek bottom just below the bean field. So for this setup, we had to drive down in the side-by-side and get set up near a river crossing. This was a pinch point. It was a low spot where all of the deer could actually get across that river and come up to feed just before dark in those bean fields.
Okay, I think that's good. Let's take a look at those branches and then we're gonna be good to go, I think. Yeah, maybe that right by the bike there, that one. And maybe this one over here, just crack off those limbs.
We decided to let that spot sit for a few days and hunt it on the last morning.
What a gorgeous morning for our last morning in Kansas. Man, the wind is in my favor. It's calm out. You can hear for miles. We know that the rut is right. We're right at the peak of it. So we're going to try a little rattling sequence. Just because of that seek phase, and maybe we can pull something in. Oh, here we go, here we go. Here comes something. That is exactly how it's supposed to happen in Kansas. Well, anywhere, but I thought for sure when I saw that deer come running down the trail, I got a drag line over there. It didn't take him 2 minutes to come running in. And he was on a string. He came flying in. I barely had time to turn my camera and get on him. And then when I was, he was right underneath me. But it's just not what we're looking for. Darn it, why couldn't that be the 130 class 10-pointer that we came down to see? But what an opportunity to witness and be a part of the anticipation of the potential when you hear a deer here, whether it's a doe or a buck. You just are so excited because you know what it could be. And man, that's what it's all about. I love that.
Well, I think that's a wrap for Kansas. Man, what an awesome week we've had here. We had a great time. Drew has a wonderful piece of property here, and I can't thank him enough for that opportunity with his firefighting career and his farming career and young kids, busy guy. But we weren't able to knock one down, not the one we were looking for. Didn't show his face. And you know what? No regrets. You can't shoot those big bucks if you always shoot the little ones first, so we wanted to make sure that there was nothing trailing those little guys, and this time around there wasn't, but the next time that could be different. Anyway, let's see what's happening up on Manitoulin.
This segment of Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by Great Spirit Circle Trail.
Welcome back to Fuel the Fire TV. Now the next two segments are actually one great big learning curve tip. And that tip is that when you make a questionable shot, the most important thing that you can do in order to recover that game is back out. Now this hunt we actually did on the same night, and we both made questionable shots.
Overnight, the temperatures really changed. It dropped about -5 this morning. So I decided to move stands and try this one. This is another fruit plot we did. Just did a little bit of rattling there, a few grunts. I only do it about every hour. I don't do it very often. Just kind of pique the interest. Our buck to doe ratio is way out of whack. So these bucks don't really have to compete very much. Because their instincts tells them to rattle it. You know, it's another buck fighting, so. Big buck right there. Big buck.
shot at a real nice 8-point. I'm gonna give him lots of time there. And go check it out. I'm excited. That's my first shot with my bow. It's a pretty nice buck for a bow kill for me anyway.
Well, we're just leaving where we were hunting, and we made the decision to let that buck go and lay down for the night, and we'll find him in the AM. So stick around, see if we find him.
Watching Rob's video again, he was able to shoot an 8-pointer last night, a decent 8-pointer. I think he might have got an artery. That's good that you let it sit, because I've seen deer get hit in that back leg, and you know, that's obviously not where we're wanting to shoot animals, but we could get lucky on this one.
And there's nothing worse than to try to sleep after knowing that that animal's laying out there and not know if you're going to recover or not.
Okay folks, we're back in here the next morning. We let that deer lay all night long, and that deer come in to this little thicket of bush here. So we're gonna go in and pick up the blood trail and see what we can find.
You know, and I apologize to Rob because I didn't end up turning the microphones on this particular one. I was so excited, but we did see some real good sign, and when we got to that point of impact, you know, we were super hopeful. We were all real happy that you recovered your best archery buck. It's a tough thing to do, to pull out, but you know guys, it's the best thing to do to recover that game. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
This segment of Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by Wikwemekong Tourism.
Welcome back to Fuel the Fire TV. Even though Rob's shot was questionable, he did the right thing and let it sit overnight. And he ended up harvesting and recovering his best buck with his bow. That same night, Diane and I were in the stand, and it was blistering cold. We had a real nice little 8-point come in. Watch what happens.
There's a young buck, Diane. Get him on video. He's smelling that drag line. Okay, he's on our trail now. We're just gonna let him come in.
Are you gonna take him?
If he comes all the way around, then yeah, I'm gonna take him.
I'm frozen.
Just sit tight.
What's he doing?
He's peeing and rubbing on his tarsal glands. Get very good penetration on that shot. Son of a gun, I don't know if that went through or not. I think I hit him in the shoulder blade. There was lots of arrows sticking out. It wasn't a pass through, but it's hard to say. You can tell I hit bone for sure, because
because it bent the blade of the broadhead. Okay, I'll give him a little bit more time.
We let that little buck sit last night. We came to here and I just didn't want to push it. Now I'm gonna go in and look for it. The best thing to do whenever you're not sure is you back out, you let the animal lay down, and hopefully enough damage was done that it'll expire. That rage went far enough through to do enough damage on one side of his lung to kill that deer. You know, we put a lot of work into hunting, and you don't mean to take poor shots, and you plan and you try and get everything to happen just right, but anything can change when you're bow hunting. It's a moving target. It's not like in the summer, it's cold. It's almost like you put so much work in that you deserve it, but that's a misnomer. It doesn't matter how much hard work you put in. These animals deserve respect, and that's it. And if you're lucky enough to take one and be a part of that whole circle, then you have to appreciate that in and of itself. We do work hard for these deer, and you know, this is a trophy for me because of how hard we work to get here. Is it the biggest buck in the bush? Nope. But it's gonna feed us, and it's gonna come full circle, and that's what's important. We're lucky enough to be a part of that, and we have to appreciate that for what it is. So remember, folks, to fuel your passion and fuel the fire, you have to get outdoors. We'll see you next week.